Thank you for joining us for Chatting in the Void, a conversational podcast hosted by Cthulhu Tilly and Hallik. Welcome to podcast Chatting in the Void, episode 20. Getting pretty exciting, buddy. Here. We're getting there. Should be.
We're doing the thing. The thing
we
has
are
been accomplished 20
there
times.
We go. Yeah. So welcome to episode 20 of Chatting in the Void. Thank you, all of our viewers, for being here. But yeah, okay. So, what happened to you this week?
Oh man, we might as well get this out of the way.
Okay.
My model got delayed again.
Tragic, fucking tragic.
Very unfortunate.
So sad. So unfortunate.
It really rustles my jimmies.
Yeah. Does it grind your gears?
Yeah. Have you seen the jimmies rustle meme? I love that meme. It's one of my favorite memes.
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's an older meme. Not a whole lot of people know about it. But
okay.
I was all over that meme. I think I have some pictures of it. Let me see if I can find one to send it to your way.
Okay. I'm gonna Google it right now. Rustle my jimmies.
Russell. Yeah, that works too.
Oh, the monkey one? That really rustled my jimmies? Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
It's pretty. Yo, I found an epic one. I'm actually going to put this one on the stream because I feel like it's applicable. But,
all right.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is tragic. Any ETA or anything like that? Or no?
They did give me an ETA.
Okay.
Finally, they gave me an ETA. They said the 10th. The 10th, okay. I'm getting my model, according to them. I am up to here with them. If they don't deliver a week from this ETA, I'm going to file a refund because this is just ridiculous.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I have a deadline until December to do so, but if I don't put a pressure on them, I don't know what else they're going to do. They're going to keep bullshitting me left and right.
Yeah, they're going to keep on delaying. Hopefully they'll just, deliver the goods and then it'll be good. I'm in the same position, although obviously I know my artist, so I'm not too worried about it, but she just haven't had any updates on my new stream overlay, but that's fine. It's okay. I'm chill with it. I'll wait as long. I'm not really worried about that one. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, anything else? Anything new on your side of the world? Because mine was, quite frankly, very boring. So.
All right. So let's go over some of the fun things that happened last week for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to start with... We'll get to Genshin in a bit, but we're going to start with Dota 2, actually. We'll get to Genshin. I'm going to start with Dota 2. Dota 2 had its Battle Pass come out.
Right.
After it being delayed a couple weeks, the community going fucking crazy. There was even this guy who had his 5 minutes of fame on Twitch because he made a stream the day that they announced that the Battle Pass was going to come out, where all he did was just say the words Battle Pass over and over and over and over again until the Battle Pass comes out. And he sure fucking did. He made one mistake though, but everybody's human. But for hours on hours upon end, he was just on Twitch live saying the words Battle Pass. And it was quite epic. It was quite a little adventure there. For those that miss those little nuggets of gold in Twitch sometimes.
That's fucking wow.
It reminded me kind of
like a partner.
No, wait.
Okay.
Is he? I think so. I think he is.
Did he make money for doing that?
I believe so because he got a lot of attention on Reddit and on
Christ.
It was a smart move.
Yeah, genius, but also what the fuck?
It kind of reminded me again of like how when Pokemon Go became a thing, and it was like the very few couple days that Pokemon Go became a thing. That's when like those were like the glory days, right? It's like there's always some weird shit going on Twitch, and if you don't catch it before it becomes mainstream, it's like no longer cool, right? So you gotta go full hipster mode. That was my little moment of hipsterness, I guess.
Yeah. I don't have any Twitch hipster moments because I exclusively follow tiny streamers, and so that's pretty much it.
Moving on from that point, the Dota 2 Battle Pass came out, and literally 10 minutes after the Battle Pass came out, everybody was like praising it, being like, oh shit, this is the coolest thing ever. Oh my god, this is so cool. This new skin is awesome. This new other thing is awesome, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. The community likes it. I'm looking at the skins and I'm like, yeah, this looks good. This looks cool. I like this. And then I just play Dota and then go to bed, right? The very next day, Reddit is full of like, this is the worst battle pass. Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this. Or like scamming us. Oh, the duality that is the fucking Reddit, just social media community in general.
I would say the duality of man, but really it's the duality of nerds.
Yeah.
The duality of nerds. The nerds that love something and the nerds that hate it.
Yeah, so there's this. So for the people that don't understand the Dota 2 Battle Pass, and a lot of people don't, there are special skins called Arcanas. And an Arcana, like I said, it's a special skin that does more than just change like the looks of your character. It changes the voice acting, it changes the model itself, it changes the look of the abilities icons, and all of the Arcanas come with like a little mini quest for your hero, where you can unlock like an alternate color palette for that Arcana if you do like certain set of things in game.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. So whenever you get an Arcana, it's like it's just like a little adventure that you can go on with that hero. But anyways, people were saying, oh, this Battle Pass has one less Arcana than previous years. Oh, Valve is so lazy, and we'll get to that in a second. Valve is like scamming us, blah, 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 blah. And like all of a sudden, I'm like, guys, what do you mean? The Battle Pass has been a scam since 2016. Are you guys retarded? It's like everybody, they put one less thing on the Battle Pass, right? And all of a sudden they're like acting like it's never been a scam.
Right.
For fuck's sake. You have to spend north of $200 to get all the Arcanas in a Battle Pass. And that has been the case.
Yeah.
Since 2016. Since they started doing the whole multiple Arcana thing.
Yeah, which amuses me the most, because that means that it's been one of the most successful scams since 2006.
Oh,
because there were a bunch of people under the impression that it wasn't a scam, and I think that's hysterical.
Exactly, and that's the whole point of hypocrisy that I see here. It's like, guys, you motherfuckers have been paying for this shit for literal years now, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. Nah, get out of here.
Yeah.
Nah,
buddy,
I don't care. I'm gonna shill out the money. I'm gonna shill out the money, because basically what they've done with this Arcana is that they made it so that the characters that did get the Arcanas this year, they look like a revamped version of what the hero used to look like in Warcraft 3. Right? So when Dota 2 came out, they had to like rebrand a lot of the heroes. They had to change some of the look of the heroes, some of the lore of the heroes, because a lot of it was tied to Warcraft 3 canon lore, and they couldn't do that. They couldn't monetize that, right? So it's part of like, how is it that Valve got away with getting the IP for Dota 2?
Right.
But these Arcanas, they kind of like, they look a lot like a rebranded look of what the hero used to look like in Warcraft 3, and it's like so sick, sick. You would like actually the whole theme behind the featured Arcana.
Yeah.
Looks like you need to ban a bot in your chat, Tully.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, there is the featured hero in the Arcana this year is called Faceless Void, and he is all about Cthulhu mythos.
Ooh,
he has, and this Arcana makes it so that it's more close to that, because he now has like more tentacle shit going on. His like whole lore is more about like the void itself, blah 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 blah. It's like full blown Cthulhu mythos now.
Right.
Before that, he was just kind of like weird space dude with no eyes, right? But now he's like Cthulhu,
right?
In a sense. So you would like it. You should just take a Google and never spend $200 on a game you're not gonna play, right? But like, yeah. No. Anyways, the other Arcana is for Razor. And Razor used to be the Revenant model in Warcraft 3. And now they just make it look like a Revenant from those days. And it looks so cool. I am so gonna shell out money for it. I don't care.
I'm actually, I'm just scrolling through and I'm looking at the Arcanas right now. I just Googled it. I do like the Faceless Void. It looks pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All this, like lately, like I want to say the last 3 years worth of Arcanas have all been amazing. Like they've made the characters just look fantastic. Yeah. Like Google real quick, Wind Ranger Arcana and Queen of Pain Arcana. Dude, those models look fantastic, and I'm so glad that I got them. Every person that I talk to that plays Dota with me that doesn't have the Arcana says that they regret not getting these things.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. That's also like the whole scummy thing that Valve is doing here that you wouldn't think that Valve would do, but they are. Yeah. And that is, once the battle pass goes away, you can't get their Arcanas anymore. Like, it's over. You cannot get them.
Right. They're gone forever. Yeah.
They're gone forever.
League has some skins like that, although usually not.
And basically, in this tactic is commonly known as FOMO, which is fear of missing out, right? So it's like, look, if you don't get it now, you will never get it again. So they better shell out the money now. Kind of like pressure that they put on consumers to spend more than they would actually normally do. And it is a very scummy tactic, and it is quite like flying under the radar, in my opinion, that Valve is pulling this shit out. You know? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Valve is actually pretty notorious for doing some scummy things when it comes to money. So,
like, what else? Because I haven't heard of other stuff really.
So, well, have you heard of their card game that they made?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. The Dota card game.
Yeah, the Dota card game, whatever the hell it was called. I can't remember. But it was you had to pay money to buy the game. It wasn't a free-to-play game. You had to pay money to buy the game. And then in-game, you had to pay money to buy card packs to play the game. So it was like you had to pay to play, not just pay to play. Like, yeah. They're pretty notorious for screwing over indie developers as a general rule when it comes to like cuts and stuff like that. Like sometimes I've heard of indie devs with contracts. Obviously it depends on the indie dev and depends on the game, but I've heard some devs that I've talked to, like I have a friend who's a dev for certain games on Steam. I think he has like 2 games on Steam, and his cut with Steam right now is 70-30. So Steam takes 70% of his proceeds.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And like the thing is, like, if you don't agree, the Steam's just like, all right, well, we just won't host your game. Like that's because they have basically a monopoly on it. Even with competing companies, it's like still most games are sold through Steam, even though Epic Game Store and all that are trying to create competition, and Galaxy of Games is trying to create competition, but they just don't have the base that Steam has. Steam has so many users inherently and sells so many games that it's like the one place that you really, it would be like having a video channel, right? Where it's like you post, I don't know, gaming stuff gaming videos, but you don't have a YouTube channel. You post like exclusively to like Vimeo and Pornhub or something like that, and you never post on YouTube. Like it would be like the equivalent of that if you just put your game on other platforms, to be quite honest, unless you're like a AAA title that fucking Epic Games is going to be like, yo, we have exclusives for blank game. And so yeah, it's Valve is actually pretty notorious about that. It's interesting. I don't know, maybe it's different dev teams or just different teams in general, because I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that in other Valve games. So like I felt like obviously for like Half-Life and Portal, those games are awesome, and then for TF2, I've never heard of them like screwing over people for money in TF2.
Well,
but I don't know.
TF2 has the whole like loot box thing, so technically that's its own level of getting screwed on its own.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I am thinking maybe they think that they can get away with it because Dota 2 is a free-to-play game, right?
Yeah.
Like why? Maybe they use that as too much a shield. I think it's too good of a defense to get away with like the bullshit that they do get away with sometimes.
I mean, I know Riot does a lot of the same things too, so.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if it generates money for them, why would they stop?
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing. That's the whole point here. It's like what triggers me the most about people like saying that this battle pass is shit and blah 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 blah. It's like at the end of the day, guys, you vote with your wallet as a consumer. They get away with this shit because people buy it. And what's most tragic about this whole thing is that there can be out of all the millions of people that spend money on Dota, right?
Yeah.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people, let's say. Out of all this large consumer base that is the Dota 2 community,
right?
It only takes 1 in 100 of those people to spend like $200 for them to like make a shit ton of money. Right. So like there could be 99 people that say, no, I'm not gonna spend money on this battle pass because I don't agree with it. And then out of nowhere, you know, only 1% of the player base wails out on the battle pass, and then they're in profit. They're in massive margins of profit. And that's the whole tragic thing. It's like, it's that those little people. It's the goddamn 1% again, right?
Yeah.
That makes it really hard. But it's just that nothing's gonna change if they don't get called out. If if the consumers, us, we don't get like yelled at. And look at myself, like I'm gonna spend money on this. Absolutely, I want those skins, right? So I'm a big fucking hypocrite over here, where I don't agree with the battle pass, but I'm still spending money on it, right? Because I just really want the skins. I play this game way too much.
Yeah.
So for me, it is a worthwhile investment because I am gonna get my money's worth of entertainment out of it. Right. But it is hard for me to preach these things, and that, but at the same time, I'm also the guy who's like supporting it at the same time. Right. So it's difficult, and that from that point of view, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I don't think it's gonna change. This is too difficult to have like, let's say, 100% of the player base boycott something. It's just too hard. It's just too difficult. At this point, what seems to be effective is the whole social media drama thing. That seems to be like the one thing that like make these companies like make change happen, right? Like for example, when Blizzard had their whole thing about sexist work culture, right? They had it for decades, and it didn't change until it became audible. Until it became audible within social media, and people started making a bunch of rants about it and started blowing up. Yeah. So I think that would probably be the way of like making things change.
Yeah. Riot had a similar experience as well, by the way. They had a bunch of people come out as like, hey, yo, this shit's really terrible. And so, I definitely think that that's like a more common thing And so, yeah, I don't know. It's wild.
As much as like people want to like sit here and be like, just gotta boycott it, vote with your wallet. At the same time, like I'm starting to realize it's just too tough. It's too tough because you cannot control young gamers with way too much income and not enough ways of spending said income. Exactly.
And I mean, it also must be said, there's like, you can tell people, well, don't vote with your wallet, and they'll still be like, yeah, but it looks cool. like that's a huge
cool. I want that arcana so bad.
I definitely can understand that like perspective of like, yeah, but like it looks cool, and Tencent definitely does a good job with like the skins and stuff like that with Riot and doing advertising, and I don't know. It's also, I mean, they are providing a free game and they have to make money somehow.
That is true. So if you think about it too in this way, is this whole battle pass situation and FOMO thing really all that scummy? Because at the end of the day, and I'm not here trying to defend this capitalist business tactics and shit like that before anybody starts getting on my case about it. But at the end of the day, like you gotta think, I've played Dota 2 for over 5,000 hours at this point, especially if I count my Dota 1 days, right?
Yeah.
But for Dota 2, I would say I'm at like 2,000 hours or so. That's 2,000 hours of entertainment, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of entertainment that you get for basically for free. Because I by no means did I have to spend any money at some point.
Yeah.
Right? So it really comes to like is it really worth it to spend money? Well, that's on a case-by-case basis, right? The new player who's been playing Dota or whatever game for like 20 hours, for him, when the Battle Pass comes out and the Battle Pass goes, you got to spend $200 if you want the last unlock skin. For that player, it's not gonna feel very good. It's gonna be like, no, this is a shit deal. Yeah, cool skin, but not worth $200. But for me, who has spent like fucking 2,000 hours, and I'm probably gonna spend a few thousand hours more on this game. So I can reason it. I can like rationalize this expenditure,
right?
Because I have the hours.
Yeah. And it's very interesting because like the only reason, and it's funny because I feel like free games are the only games where you can spend that much time on them usually, like with the exclusion of maybe a couple. Like I know some people who have like a ton of hours in like Skyrim because it just has such intense replayability, or like the Pokemon games to some degree. But like there's just I don't know, League and Dota and the MOBA genre that tends to be free because they don't really work if they're not. I feel like those games lend themselves to people playing them for an insane amount of time, and usually they're free to play. And I don't know how connected those things are to each other, but it's just like, it's interesting because, I definitely probably have the most hours in League of Legends and the second most hours in Warframe, which are both free to play games. And so it's interesting because, they make money off of that because they are expecting people to get invested in their game and then spend the money. And I think that's really actually it's kind of a cool, to me, it's almost less scummy. Because like... Yeah,
and we got to talk about too, something that I want to talk about too. It's like the $60 price tag of a video game.
Yeah.
And how... Even though inflation has been a thing for like decades now, $60 has been the price tag for games for decades, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not only until recently that Nintendo changed that price tag to $70, right?
Yeah.
Now it's $70 if you want to buy a game. Now Nintendo has its own level of scumminess going on and its own level of bullshit, but I do agree that in today's gaming market, $60 for a AAA gaming experience that can give you north of 60 hours of entertainment, that's $1 per hour of fun.
Yeah.
fuck's sakes, man. Go to a movie.
Yeah.
Think of the ratio of fun for money spent there.
$5 per hour or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And also, like, I also agree that it's interesting because game developers can exist like that mostly because they can sell things in mass now, and they produce one product that they can sell a bunch of times. And so they spend, 100,000 hours making a really fucking good product that they sell 100,000 times for $60. And then they make a crazy amount of money off of it. But it's fascinating because it's like, there are like two different game economies, basically, obviously. There's, microtransactions, and then there's pay to play. And it's fascinating because now what bothers me more is like with, and obviously Overwatch is a thing, but when pay to play games also have loot boxes, that kind of bothers me. Like, I understand why, because they have to, because they're continuing to support that game. Because it's not like, because like that's the thing is, you buy, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a specific game, but it's like, let's say you buy Super Smash Bros. All of the additional packs cost money if you want the next heroes, because they're continuing to work on the game. So it's kind of like the same thing as like, they're going to provide you the updates to Overwatch for free on like the trust that like eventually you'll spend money on their game again, because they're going to continue to support their game for years upon years upon years upon years, to the point where the $60 that you spent on the game originally is becoming obsolete, it's obsolete. Yeah, they've already spent that money trying to continue to support the game that you love. And so it's very interesting.
And like, think about it too. So why is it that then people are not complaining about like subscriptions in like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, like the MMO Final Fantasy? I forget the number all the time.
14, right? I think, is the MMORPG.
Yeah, like, what's the subscription on that?
I have
$15
no idea.
a month, I think.
Yeah,
for a while it's always been $15 a month.
Yeah,
unless you buy it as a bundle. If you buy it as a year, it's like $12 a month or something stupid like that. So for a year worth of playing an MMO, you gotta buy the initial. You're gonna buy the initial game, right?
Yeah.
So you buy the initial game, which is $60, and whatever expansion is like the thing. But it's always bundled, right? It's always $60.
Yeah.
And then you gotta pay the subscription, right? So it's 12 times 15, that's 10 times 15, 150 plus 30, 180. So we're looking at $240 for like a year worth of having fun on an MMO.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Hey, look at that. $200 and something dollars. That sounds about like what I'm going to be spending on this battle pass that comes once a year in Dota 2. So if instead of a battle pass, Valve had like a monthly subscription to play Dota, which it's ridiculous, it wouldn't make sense, but just from the hypothetical in terms of like spending money, all of a sudden, it doesn't sound that bad. It actually sounds quite standard,
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with like Riot, and I know a lot of people that are like, gosh, why are these skins like $80? And I'm like, there's a reason, and it's because you've played 200 hours of this game without ever paying them a penny. And it's just like it's fascinating.
And they need to make money, so they're banking on the people that have extra income, so that the people who cannot afford it can still enjoy the game. It's like it's like you go into an amusement park and some rich guy pays for your ticket. That's basically what it is. Because at the end of the day, you're playing a free-to-play game. No one forces you to swipe your credit card.
Yeah,
no one. It's just, sure, let's not look at like the scummy games in like iOS and like mobile and whatnot. We're talking here about mainstream mobile games, mainstream free-to-play games like Warframe, Counter-Strike, etc.
Yeah.
No one forced anybody else to swipe their card. The entire game, the entire experience of the game, even Genshin Impact, the entire fucking storyline in Genshin Impact is there for you to experience, have fun with, for free. No one's forcing you to swipe.
Yeah. No one is making you pay up front, which is, a whole different economy. And so they have to do something different. But it is interesting to me that it's like, all right, so World WoW is $15 a month or whatever, right?
It's always
And
$15 a month.
Usually, people who play WoW, and I don't know a lot of them, but the people that I know play WoW and pay for their subscriptions, if they're paying monthly, they like spend time in the game monthly. Like they actually use that.
You just reminded me too. There's this whole thing. So you didn't play old school RuneScape when it came out, right? When it became free to play.
I did not. No.
But just so you know, and they did this in World of Warcraft too. But in RuneScape, in old school RuneScape, they added these things called bonds. What a bond is that it's membership, it's subscription basically. So in OSRS, everything up until like 2007 is considered free to play. But all the content that they've added after old school RuneScape came out, all of that stuff, it is you have to pay. You have to be a member to experience it. And play
so they had a membership in RuneScape back in the day too. They had a premium membership. So
okay. But what I'm getting at is that you can buy it with in-game currency, and now you can do that too in World of Warcraft. Yeah, but at the end, but people think that that's a big change, right? This is a big change for the market. You know, they're not gonna make as much money because free to play players, we just gotta grind for our membership now. No, you don't. It doesn't change anything. Actually, it makes them even more profit. Why? Because the reason that they added this method is to fight Chinese gold farmers. Because if you want to buy gold, in World of Warcraft or even RuneScape now, there is an official supported way of doing it without getting your account banned. You buy a bond and then you sell it on the auction house or on the Grand Exchange. So it's the same thing for World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, you're a new player. I don't want to grind. I don't really want this mount that costs 20,000 gold. You can just buy an extra membership for another player and then you trade it for gold, and there you go. That's what it is. So my point being,
that's cool,
is that where was I going with all of this?
I had brought up that people who buy memberships spend time on it. I had a specific place I was going with that after that, but go ahead and finish your sentence.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
It's just that, again, it's just like, going to the amusement park and then somebody pays for your ticket. At the end of the day, these video games don't fucking come out of the woodwork and like materialize themselves out of the void and they're there for you to play. No, some guy had to draw everything. Some guy had to code everything. Some guy had to bug fix everything, And we're talking about hundreds or even thousands really of man hours that need to like happen for more content to appear,
considerably more.
Yeah, and then guess what? These companies, they have to pay these employees. These companies they have to pay for the benefits of said employees. And it is expensive, man. Have you tried hiring a fucking full stack programmer? You seen those checks that they get? Now that's God forbid, like an artist that like you can go. Oh my God! Imagine having an artist that you can go up to, or an artist team that you can go up to, and tell them what you imagined last night in your dream, and they can make it happen with quality and make it look amazing. That costs money. My God, that costs a lot of money. God forbid 3D modeling, animations, sound design, music, OST designing, performance. Fuck, man. Video games are expensive to make. My lord, they cost so much, especially if you don't want to like make free assets. So at the end of the day, you people that like cannot afford games, people that can only play free to play games, like kids in school or kids in college, or people with low income. Man, they should be fucking so thankful that that we've created an ecosystem where they get full-blown AAA gaming experiences for free.
So
at no cost, because there's other people who have money that are willing to pay for it.
So I'm gonna do this real quick, but I'll say
All right,
Like, so they pay 20, so they pay, $15 a month for WoW, right? And
I played WoW for like 2 years, man.
Right. And I pay more than that for my Netflix subscription per month. I don't even use my Netflix every month.
Oh my god!
Like, I pay for my Netflix subscription. Well, I pay for my Netflix subscription because my parents and my brother uses it. So it's not just me who relies on it. But it's like, I'm not getting paid by them. I don't use it. It's not mine. But it's like I pay more than that for my Netflix subscription per month.
It's the sun tax.
Yeah, I know many people who pay more money on their morning coffee every month than $15. They get Starbucks every day of the week. Like, that's like,
Starbucks sandwiches. You know how expensive that is?
Yeah, that's like $50 a week. Okay, that they spend on Starbucks. All right, so it's $200 a month. Like, you're paying $15 a month. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Also, just to kind of put it in perspective. All right, so WoW's team, World of Warcraft's team, right? Who are obviously, they're doing the subscription thing. There are 300. There are between 100 and 200 people, 100 and 300 people on Blizzard's WoW team. We don't really know because obviously they also multitask at any given time, and I'm sure they work on other projects for Blizzard. But I'm just going to go off of 200 because obviously that's the middle there. So let's say on average they have 200 people that are working 40 hours a week on WoW, on World of Warcraft. That means that there are 2,640,000 man hours going into World of Warcraft every year.
Okay, and now we have this number. Let's just round it to 2 million. Now multiply that by the hourly salary of which an actual professional,
Yeah, assuming $50,000 a year, that's $27,000. It's $27 an hour. That's seven.
That's the low end, dude. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. And that's the low end. That's $71 million.
Just people, and that's not counting
just
benefits.
On people. Yeah,
that's just salary. That's not benefits. Yeah. That's not cost of running operations. Yeah. That's not like overtime when they have to fucking get a patch out because it got delayed for the third time this month.
Yeah. And to put that in perspective, right? Valve's team of people, or not Valve, Riot's team of people, Riot's employee count is 2,500 people. Riot has 2,500 people on payroll. So that means that if they're all working 40 hours a week, which obviously we don't know, they might be working less than that. They might be working considerably less than that.
Average, but still, probably more than that, honestly.
Yeah, if all of those people, if all 2,500 people are working 40 hours a week, which is the standard work week, that's 33 million man hours a year. That's fucking wild. Like, that's a lot of time that is going into maintaining and creating the game that people love. And I think it's really fascinating that it's like, okay, so they're gonna shit on those developers. I don't know what Dota's team is.
It's very small, but
yeah. But it's I'm sure that it's not a small number of man hours when you look at it. When you really look at the number of man hours that go into
get back to that in a second.
Game.
We'll go back into that in a second. Yeah. I talked about that on the stream, but go on.
Yeah. So it's like, I think that it's insane that it's like 30 people. So it's like Valve has 30 to 40 people who work on Dota 2 every year. And so, that's still a lot of people. That's not quite as many, but that's still a lot of man hours. That's still a considerable number of hours to go into that game that, they need to get paid for it. They're not doing their work for free. They're creating something that's valuable. And I think it's really interesting because I feel like most free games, people don't really think about that. And I've been thinking about that because obviously, I wanted to be a game developer at one point and still kind of do want to do game development at some point, although I have bigger priorities right now. But also, too, it's just like, it's interesting to me that it's, being a game developer sometimes is kind of like being a starving artist. It's kind of like having a degree in fucking, dance
liberal
or whatever. Yeah. Some liberal arts degree where it's like you're doing a bunch of work and then you have to do a bunch of work for, basically no recognition for a long time before you ever get any recognition for it. And I think that's wild. And I don't know, it's like every time I think about artists doing artisty things, it kind of makes me sad sometimes, because it's like,
yeah,
Jesus,
it's depressing.
like you were, and we've talked about this before. It's like artists are almost always underpaid, and that is definitely true for game developers. Game developers are definitely underpaid. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where were you gonna go? Did you have something else to say? Before I started doing math.
The math.
I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just like when you really put all of this into perspective, and then you look at a battle pass and go, "Oh, $200 if I want the whole thing." Yeah. When it's front load, when the cost is front loaded like that, it does sound ridiculous. But
I don't know.
It's just, you need context. You need to understand that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, you don't have to spend anything, and basically these developers that worked on this battle pass content, they are all working on a promise. It's like they're gonna get paid if this sells, kind of thing, right? No, they're gonna get paid, but the company is incurring losses. Sorry, the company is not guaranteed that people will spend enough to make a profit, right? So it is kind of like a risky investment in a sense, from a business point of view, to create all this content and then hope that people will actually buy it. But which
I do think is interesting. I do wonder. I just curious. I don't know. I'm sure nobody really publishes this information, but I do wonder, like, how much time do they actually spend making skins versus doing other things? And is it one of those things where it's like the, I don't know if you know this, but the lemonade fallacy for Chick-fil-A, for example, which is one that I know about, but this is true for a lot of things. So every time you buy a large cup of lemonade from Chick-fil-A, they lose money, because it costs them more money to make a cup of lemonade than they sell it for. It costs more than $3 for them to make that cup of lemonade. So you buy it for $3, but they make money because you also buy a $7 chicken sandwich, and that takes them 50 cents to make. And
that's a famous thing.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like the chicken sandwich is the skin, where it's like Riot really only spends a couple hundred man hours on a skin that they make hundreds of thousands of dollars on. But then they've
all incurred a loss in other ways.
They've incurred a loss, obviously bug fixing, because their game is buggy as fuck.
Yeah, because nobody's buying the bug fix package at the store, right?
Exactly. It comes out for free. It has to, otherwise the game would fall apart. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because it has to be that way. But I do still wonder, like, how much of their time is spent making skins versus making the game, if that makes sense. Like,
if that, correct. If you put it when you put it that way, sure, at the end of the day, not a whole lot of time is being placed into making a skin happen versus making the game functional. It's like, or even look at this. They release a new hero, right? And they can monetize the new hero, because new hero means new skins, new opportunities to. But where is the package of making sure that the hero works? Where's the package of making sure that the hero gets bug fixed or balanced? Etc. etc. You don't see that in the store.
There are some bug fixes I just wouldn't have bought from Riot.
But so all of this, I remember now the point I wanted to make. This whole going to an amusement park and getting your ticket paid for, is that, my God, I wish I was a Zoomer. I wish I was in high school in 2020. I would have, or even just middle school or before that, I would have all the games that I could play for free. My parents would not have to spend anything other than just for the cost for the computer, instead of like constantly having to buy like a AAA $60 game all the time every time I begged them for it on Christmas. No, my God, if I had a computer and I was born like in 2010, I would have so much to play with without spending a dime. Like,
Yeah.
young gamers or people that cannot afford games in general are so blessed right now. And this, in a sense, is a product of all these like battle pass things, loot box things. You know, sure, loot boxes are evil because they're technically gambling, right? So that's something else. That's a different discussion altogether. But I cannot say that that has not contributed to what I'm saying right now. So, but you know, in a sense, battle pass is like less evil because you know for a fact what you're getting. There's no RNG involved. There's no gambling involved in this. But anyways, being a kid or being somebody who cannot spend money on games right now, like compared to how this was 20 years ago, my god, you have so many options. You have so many AAA games you can play. You have so many cool things you can experience for free. And sure, you're a kid, you can't afford it right now. That's fine. Play. Because at the end of the day, there's an adult who has no kids, who's earning 6 digits a year that will pay it for you. You know? And then later, you know, maybe later down the line, when you grow up and you have fucking a shit ton of income and nothing to spend it on other than saving it, you know, you know, then maybe you're gonna see a battle pass that for a game that you spend like 2,000 hours on, and be like, you know what, it's my turn. It's my turn to you know, help out,
it's
you know,
my turn
feed
to
game
pay
developers
it forward.
Yeah, it's my turn to feed game developers and let the little kids who cannot afford games play those games now. You know? That's in a sense how I see it. And and it has a lot to do with like, especially with battle passes. Not loot boxes. Loot boxes don't, but like, it has to do a lot with like demonizing free to play spending. You know. It's unfortunate that it started the way that it started with like, you know, the whole loot box thing. But there are alternatives that work, that are less evil, that are functional, and they're basically like a win-win, you know. And it's important for us consumers to see the difference between an evil gambling kind of fucking thing that's trying to like scam kids out of their lunch money versus, you know, paying forward paying for like hundreds and thousands of hours that you've had for free already, and helping, you know, helping fucking devs get their fucking lunch money, you know, helping them afford their needs too, and helping kids or people that can't play. Oh my god. Anyways,
okay, I have a question. Because I'm looking at it right now. I literally just pulled up my League client because I wonder what you'll think of League's version of Battle Passes, which comes out every event that they do. They have a pass. The pass costs, there are two passes.
Got it.
Okay. There's a $15 pass and a $25 pass, basically.
Okay.
And the $15 pass, and this is what I'm curious about. So the $25 pass includes a skin. But it's a skin that you could just buy. You don't have to, like, you could also just buy it for less in the battle pass. Like, it's not exclusive to the battle pass.
They're like bundling it. They're bundling it.
They're bundling it with loot boxes and icons and tokens that you can use to get other stuff in the shops, including more exclusive skins and stuff like that. So it's like, you get some other stuff too, but it also bundles it with loot boxes. The thing is that the $15 battle pass also has the tokens, which you can use the tokens to buy certain things, to craft certain like specific skins and stuff like that, and get chromas. But it also, like, the main thing in the passes is like the specific loot boxes, the event specific loot boxes, which have drops that are specific to the event that you won't be able to get again. How do you feel about that?
There is something similar in Dota. Actually, it's the immortal little casket loot box thing. But here's the thing about those: is that Valve have they disclose. Okay, so I'm gonna give you this because I don't know League, so I want to see just how similar this is to what League is doing. So
Okay.
in Battle Pass, in the every time that they do a Battle Pass for Dota, which is once a year.
Uh-huh.
Well, sometimes it's 2 a year when they do some bonus event, but it's once a year for the most part for the main one. There is the Immortal kind of loot boxing where you get six skins, 6 to 8 skins, depends on which ones. There's 2 rare ones and then 1 ultra rare one.
Right.
When you open one, you're guaranteed to not get a repeat for any of the first 6 skins. Right?
Okay.
So if you want a specific skin within 6 or 8 of the little loot boxes, you're guaranteed to get them as long as they're the normal ones. The rare ones, you're also guaranteed to get them after a certain amount, which is at a much higher rate than the others. And then the ultra rare one is like 1 in 100 chance, but if you open 100 of these, you're basically guaranteed to get it. So they disclose the RNG behind it, and they tell you how many you need until it's guaranteed. And then they also make sure that the large majority of those skins are basically guaranteed to you within the first 6 loot boxes, which you can get for free very easily if you just level up the battle pass with the dailies and whatnot. So that's the thing. Do League with these loot box things, do they disclose the chances, and is there a guarantee that you get them eventually?
They do disclose the chances. There is no guarantee.
But there is no guarantee.
They disclose the statistics, but there's no guarantee that you'll get what you want.
That's what's predatory about it. Is that they are hanging the little carrot in front of your nose. It's like, oh, there's a 5% chance. Oh, no, you can get it. But the thing about the Dota ones is like, if you go and spend a lot of fucking money on it, you're basically guaranteed. Like if you spend the $200 on the battle pass, you get enough levels that you're basically guaranteed to get even the ultra rare one. You could get extremely lucky and you could still not get it, but you're guaranteed. Worst case scenario, you're guaranteed at some point. So technically speaking, it's not that. It's like softcore gambling, which is a gray area. Some people might say, that's still gambling. That's still evil. Other people might say no. I would say that it kind of depends. Again, you're not gonna, you cannot not play the game without the skins, if that makes sense. What I just said, it's like a triple negative. You can play the game without the skins, is what I meant to say. Yes. Which kind of makes it a little less whatever. But if you want to go full Witcher 3, lesser evil, greater evil, I'd rather not choose. Then you might think to yourself, it's all gambling. But I would say, at least with the Dota 1, you know what you're getting into. You know the grand majority of it, you're guaranteed to get the skins. But if you want the chase skin, even then, once you get past the paywall, you're guaranteed to get it. Kind of thing. But in League, where it's a chance and you're not guaranteed, and you could go $3,000 dry and never get this thing. That's when it gets bad. That's when it gets predatory.
They also have this really predatory mechanic. They have this thing that you can get in out of loot chests for like special specific skins called Mythic Essence. And you have a 3.6% chance of getting a small thing of Mythic Essence in a loot chest. And there were people who obviously they knew what they were getting into. They were streamers who would buy literally hundreds or thousands of dollars of boxes just to try. Just to try to roll the good stuff, for the Mythic Essence, so that they could get the Mythic skin, because I think it's like 25 out of each box when you get it, and so you need 4 loot boxes to get it at a 3.6% drop chance. So it's like there are people who spent a lot of money and never got it because it's still RNG. And you could never see any Mythic Essence. And then there are people like me where it's like, I haven't even opened, I only use loot boxes that I earn, because you can also earn the loot boxes in the game. And I have 120 Mythic Essence just from existing in the game. And so now I can buy whichever one of the skins I want when it comes up, which I have a specific skin that I want from it in League. But I have to wait for it to come into the cycle again, and it was just in the cycle.
For the rerun.
Yeah,
okay,
I didn't realize it was in the cycle, and I was AFK for a while, so now I have to wait.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me all of this, and the more you speak, the more I realize this is a little similar to the whole Genshin banners and how they work.
Yeah, it's totally.
Why do you hate Genshin? Why do you hate this so much? Why do I hate Genshin
so much?
I hate
Genshin because Genshin is a gacha game, and League.
At this point, you just doing it to spite me?
I am. Yes, that is true. Also, because I don't have the time to play Genshin. Genshin is a heavy time sink.
It's a single player game. You play when you can play.
I can't play when I can't play because.
Dude, I have this. My sister has played Genshin for 2 years straight, on and off. She hasn't even completed the main storyline yet. It doesn't matter because it's a single player game. Who cares if you haven't? Oh my god, whatever. I hate you. I can't believe this. Oh my god. I hate this guy. What the hell? Why do we even hang out with you? Why do we have 20 episodes? What the hell? Get me out of here.
Because it's awesome. Come on. we can't stop now. We're about to be in the top 10% of podcasters. We can't stop now.
Lord.
We have to at least do 21 episodes.
Okay, hear me out. This is what we're gonna do. You're gonna make me a promise right now that if we make it to 50 podcast episodes, you need to play Genshin.
I will. If we make it to 50 podcast episodes, I promise I will stream Genshin for one night at least. That will be. I will say I will try it just for you. I will try Genshin. I will get roasted by most of the people who show up in my chat for playing Genshin. I'm okay with that. But I will play Genshin if we get to 50 episodes.
That's You're gonna get roasted anyways. I'm over here roasting you left and right.
It's true. But you play Genshin, so your opinion doesn't matter. Got him.
Anyways. You fucking suck.
Anyways. Yeah, which is kind of exciting. I don't know. I feel like it's a cool milestone, personally. I think it's an exciting milestone. But I'm also a nerd.
You heard it here. 50th episode. It's just gonna be a podcast where we talk and play Genshin at the same time with Tuli.
Yeah.
That's it. That's episode 50. You heard it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, this is the other thing that bothers me about Genshin, though, and one of the reasons why I haven't played it, which I get that you're like, well, it's a single player game. I don't play many single player games because I play games mostly socially. If I'm playing a single player game, usually it's just so that I can like watch something in the background while I do it, which I could probably do with Genshin. But part of the reason that I stopped playing Genshin, because I actually did install it and I booted up once, was I didn't realize until I got into the game, it doesn't allow you to play with your friends until you reach a certain level.
Correct. Yeah. But that only takes...
That
takes 2 hours, dude.
Right. And at the time I was like, I don't like that's the same exact reason I stopped playing Monster Hunter, is it took me 2 hours to be able to play with my friends in Monster Hunter 2. And the entire time I was playing for those 2 hours, I was like, all I want to do is play with my fucking friends. I don't want to have to play this game for 2 hours.
The reason they did that, I believe, is to like kind of protect players from griefing other players.
Yeah,
in a sense,
I can see that.
Also, they have to put limits on like Genshin creation of new accounts, because what people do, this was very popular a while ago, but there's kind of been a couple measures against it. But what they would do is that they would create a new account, get the like 10, 15 wishes for free.
Yeah,
that takes maybe 20 minutes to do, and then see if they get lucky and they proc like a 5-star character, which is like a 1 in 0.6 chance. So every time that they make a new account, you have a 6.6% chance of getting a 5-star character. And that's what my friend did, actually. A friend that I've actually convinced to play Genshin with me. He's like, there's no way I'm not doing that. So he did. He made like, on his 8th account, he did the first 20 minutes, got the first 10 wishes, and got lucky and got a 5-star. And then he kept that account and kept playing from there. So you could do that in Genshin too, but I didn't do that shit. I just wanted to play because I was just like so enthralled by like the storyline. I'm
far too lazy and far too much of an anti-optimizer to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Something that you mentioned was like, oh yeah, you don't play the whole single player game thing because you play games socially. I used to be like that. I didn't play any game that wasn't like a single player, like it wasn't a multiplayer game. But now that I have played World of Warcraft for so long, Warframe for so long, all these like multiplayer MMOs for so long, I'm fucking tired of people, man. People fucking suck. They're always late to raids. They're always causing drama. Guilds are splitting apart all the time. I hate people, man. I've become the old man that yells at clouds. I was like, man, I just want to play Genshin, listen to the cute anime girls say cute things, and fucking beat shit up. Like, that's it. That's my happiness now, you know. So I've learned to like single player games more, and because of that, I have also learned to appreciate games as a form of art more because of it, especially from like a writing point of view, world building point of view too. It's definitely being an eye-opening experience. Just getting burned out of MMORPGs in general. Yeah. Maybe one day you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I think about it and it's like I definitely go through periods of my life where I don't play very many multiplayer games either, and I do play the couple single player games that I do play for long periods of time. And it's like there was a while where I played a lot of Warframe alone, where it was just me because I didn't have anybody to play with. There was a time where I played a lot of League alone. And there was a time where I played quite a few single player games, but I haven't been doing that recently, mostly because it's like, if I'm alone and I have time, I want to be working on my other projects. I don't want to be playing a game. And so, I want to be writing, or I want to be, doing something like that. But I also don't really have a whole lot of time where I haven't already like done things, or where I don't have where it's like I get pestered by people to be like, come play League with us, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I'll come play League, which I need to invite you at some point, but usually I don't know, the group that I've been playing with recently, they just fucking Discord crashed. Hold on a second. Stream, I'll be back in a moment.
He disconnected in Discord,
and then we'll be there. Yeah, hello? My Discord crashed. Yeah, my Discord crashed. Don't worry, we'll get it back up here in like 2 seconds. Anyways,
good thing we record this on the side.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there we go. Sometimes Discord just gets buggy. Anyways, so I always have people pestering me to play, and they're usually playing in like a 5-stack, and they want me to carry. So sometimes I do that. But yeah, there we go. All right, everything should be back to normal. Anyways, so yeah, I just haven't been playing a lot of single player games. I've mostly been playing my social games and stuff like that. So,
all right.
But yeah, if we get to 50 episodes, I promise.
I feel I set the bar too high, but I'm not gonna back up now.
No, I mean, like, it's on you whether we do 50 episodes of this, so you can make it happen. You just have to.
I don't do anything Saturdays. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't usually either. Although I did go get my car serviced today, and I have to go back next week because cars. But yeah, and I was like, I needed to get an alignment done, and then I was like, I should probably get my brakes done, and I was like, I don't really want to do that by myself this time. I can. But God, I'm too tired. I don't want to do it today, and I didn't want to do it this week. But maybe we'll see. I might end up deciding next weekend, fuck it, I'm going to do my breaks Saturday morning and go buy stuff and then cancel my appointment. with Firestone. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, this is. I think that it's pretty good. What else? Have you been paying attention to any news lately or anything like that? Because I really haven't. I had a crazy week last week. I worked like 58 hours last week. Had like a huge project that took up like 23 hours of my time during the week and shit like that. And then and then this week I've just been like chilling and trying to avoid getting stressed. I started listening to Percy Jackson and the Olympians again after finishing the series I had been listening to. Nice. So like that's like what I've been doing, just listening to audiobooks, watching Red versus Blue, which is a great way to gauge
what season are they on now?
Well, I don't know. I think they're on like season 18. I'm not sure. I am rewatching through the whole thing, so I have made it through in the past 2 weeks. I have made it through 11 and a half seasons.
Oh, dude, I gave up on like season 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Yeah.
When they started doing the time shenanigans thing, I was like, my 13-year-old brain can't handle this. I'm out.
Oh, but it's so funny now. Oh, you should go watch it again.
It is funny.
It's great.
It is on my bucket list of things to do.
Yeah.
But man, the bucket list of things to watch and movies to see and whatnot is so long.
So, yeah, the interesting thing though is I will say with Red versus Blue, probably like the first 4 seasons are just comedy gold. They're just comedy, and that's all they are. Like seasons 5 and 6 and really. Maybe 7 are like they start to kind of get like dramatic.
Yeah, like, that's about the time when I bail.
Yeah, that's it's like it's all right. They're still funny, but the problem is like they're making this transition. Season 8 and like beyond, they really upped their game with like the animation and the fight sequences and the music and like and it's also still funny. It's still funny. It's a little more serious, but it's still funny. But my God, they really took like the combat to next level, and it's great. And then like after that, they have like a couple seasons of that, and then after that, they really fell back onto just comedy, and it's great. So and they have less of like the really big fight scenes.
I think they it's just that the thing about Red versus Blue, man. So it didn't need to be anything else other than comedy. It really didn't need to be drama. It didn't really need to be action, because you know what? For the people that wanted that, Rooster Teeth already had Ruby. Yeah, you know what? Ruby could be that, and then why did they? I think what happened is indeed Ruby. Is like Ruby became so successful because of what it did that they were like, okay, let's make Red vs. Blue also be like Ruby. But it didn't have to be like that, and it was never set up to be like that. It's a funny game about two dumbass teams being idiots in a Halo map. Like that's all it needed to be. Why did it have to be anything else? And that's when I'm like, I don't know, I can't follow anymore. I'm out.
I do have to say,
okay,
while I agree with you, I think that the problem that they experienced is they didn't want it to end because they really liked the characters. But the reality is that while there is a ton of comedy that can be done, they were getting to the point at the end of season 3, season 4, where it was a little bit like, all right, like you need to change something because this is starting to get boring. Like it's starting to get a little bit repetitive because there's only so much that you can do when it is 2 teams trapped in a box canyon. And so I think that part of it was they had to figure out a reasonable way to pull those characters out of the box canyon and get them involved in other things outside. And like I guess like the end of it was they wanted to put actual stakes on the line for the team, because that was the thing is like, you know, in Blood Gulch there was nothing really threatening them. You know, like except each other, they're so fucking incompetent that they were never a real threat. So I have to say I do like, there are a lot of motifs later on in the series that I really like, and one of those is whenever there is downtime, because you know, like the thing is later on in the seasons they become a team that works together. Like red and blue teams work together to solve problems. But what is great and so funny about it later on is as you're watching, they are working together to stop like somebody worse than them. But any moment where there's like downtime where suddenly it's chill again, they are back to red versus blue. They're back to seeing each other as enemies, which is fucking awesome. It's like, and like there's an entire thing in like season 13 where like the teams get split up. And there's like reds and blues on one side and reds and blues on the other side, and they're fighting each other. And then they like get together and they have like a little powwow and discover that it's like all this like Maskarovka stuff, and it's really complicated. But anyways, what's funny is now it's like reds and blues working to save each other from like being kidnapped, basically, on both sides. And it's really funny because like they're working together to save their friends, even though the moment that they're back home, it's going to turn back into segregated red versus blue fighting each other again.
You know,
and it's great. It's like that idea of like nobody's going to kill my enemy but me. It's very funny. Yeah, it's very funny.
I love that stuff. But I don't agree with the whole that it would get boring over time. Like, dude, it's basically, you know what Red versus Blue is? It's a sitcom. That's what it is. It's just a sitcom. It just happens to be wrapped around a video game. That's it. And bro, if there's any type of show out there that can run for decades on end without changing anything plot wise, it's fucking sitcoms. So I don't agree with the whole. I don't agree with the whole. Like, oh, they had to change things. They didn't, because what makes those sitcoms fun, what makes them interesting, is not the setting, it's not the plot, it's the characters.
Yeah,
that didn't have to change anything. They just had to keep the characters fun and interesting.
I would half agree with you if it were the era of sitcoms. But here's the thing: when was the last time you saw a sitcom go 17 seasons?
In TV. Yeah. But
2000s. They died in the 2000s.
They did.
You can't literally, and I'm not joking. Back in the era of like Friends and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and How I Met Your Mother and all those shows that went on for like, and even a lot of those only went on for like 5 seasons, right? Like, but the really long ones, I'm thinking of like Seinfeld, Friends, and those ones that went on for like 17 seasons, right? Right. Pretty much the only thing that is comparable now that is still around is Big Bang Theory, which has like 14 seasons. Oh my god,
that shit's still going?
Big Bang Theory is so garbage, and the only reason that it stays around is because literally the actors do not get paid well, and like they're open about it. They take on other jobs because it literally cannot function. It does not make money. And so the thing is that it's wild because this era of sitcoms going on like that, it just doesn't happen anymore. Things cannot exist. And part of the reason is because back in the era of sitcoms, back when Friends and all of those shows were going on, Seinfeld, well, how much competition did they have? Well, there were like 7 channels that were making TV shows. Like, there was not competition for them. So they did go on for 17 seasons, and they were funny, and they do still hold up today, and Office is included in this to some degree, too. But the reality is that now you can't do that because people will get a little bit tired of it, and they'll just go watch something else. And the problem is that it's not that it would get super boring. It's not that it wouldn't still be funny. It's that it wouldn't be as funny as it was last season. And people would stop watching because they would go move on to something funnier, something that they found more interesting.
I think people have already moved on. Like the only people
from Red versus Blue, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
So people have moved on regardless of just because
fair,
it's the nature of it. Because again, like I'm pretty sure I can almost tell what you're gonna say. Is that, to be fair, they've been running for a long fucking time, even up to like season 5, 6. Dude, that was like 2-3 years in already. For a fucking silly meme that started as a silly meme.
Yeah, you know, for a freaking thing that started out as machinima.
Machinima, right?
As a funny haha machinima, and now it has like I'm actually looking it up right now because and now it has 18 starting on 19 seasons and over 350 episodes.
Yeah. But
which is
again,
like wild.
If you take out the whole drama, the whole action oriented thing,
Yeah.
it really is just a sitcom at the end of the day. But that's the thing. It's like they didn't have to add. They could just clearly people will still watch them no matter what stupid shit they do. So they should have just realized that, stick to their ways of like just doing comedy. You know, if you have to move the characters to move the setting a little, move the setting a little. Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Right? But I didn't like that they went so drama. They were so action based. It's like, that's not what I would want to watch. Right? I think it's like, I think the problem with it that I have with it is that it's trying to be too much at the same time. Right? It's like if you compare it to like a meal, it's trying to be like a full course meal, like it's trying to do everything at the same time, trying to make sure you have good drinks, good side dishes, good main dish, good dessert. But in reality, at the end of the day, you know, it's a show on the internet. You know, sometimes I just want to be like, I want to watch the hee ha ha fucking moments machinima with the Halo dudes being funny to each other, right? Yeah. Let's see if they have a new episode. But all of a sudden, I go in. All of a sudden I go in and they're like, this is fucking insane fucking fight scene that I don't understand anything about. There's this like time shenanigans and drama and somebody's getting married, somebody's getting killed. Like, I don't know, man.
To be fair, the time travel does just turn into funny haha because it turns out that it wasn't actually time travel. But that's a whole other thing. That's just a really long joke that takes you like 3 episodes to come to the conclusion of. And that might be just a little excessive. What I do find interesting is you're actually wrong about them being inspired by Ruby. Because they start doing those fight scenes in season 6 and 7. Which those seasons came out in 2008 and 2009, 5 and 4 years. Yeah, 5 and 4 years before Ruby even had a trailer. Because Ruby's trailer came out in 2012 and Ruby came out in 2013.
Hold on. So did he animate those then? Because it probably did.
He probably did. He's probably the one who animated those. And he probably then took that and pitched Ruby.
Yeah, okay, I get it now. All right. Yeah,
and then Ruby
I don't know. My old grandpa brain got the years get a little fussy there here and there.
They do. I didn't know that either. Now it must be said, I watched season 1 probably in 2003. I did watch it when it first originated, but then I didn't come back to Red vs. Blue for many, many years because I didn't understand Halo, so I didn't really get it. I didn't watch Red vs. Blue until I was in college.
To do with Halo.
I know, but like I didn't understand anything because I wasn't in gaming. I wasn't really. I just thought like, okay, this is kind of funny, and then I got tired of it, so I stopped watching it. But then in college, I found Red vs. Blue again. It showed up in my YouTube recommendeds because I'd started gaming and I started doing all that, so it showed back up there like maybe you'll like this now. And then I watched through all of it. Like literally every single episode. And now I watch through all of it, usually like once a year about that. I try to rewatch all of it. Just because it's really good comedy. And it's really good writing when it comes down to the comedy. And I still think, I don't know, personally for me, and I get that we can disagree here, but personally for me, I do think that the later seasons hold up. Personally, I think that the fight scenes get really fun. I think that a lot of the fight scenes in like season 9 through like 13 are really fucking good and really well animated, and that I do think that they actually add to it. And the drama's there, but also the comedy is still there. And I do like I think they do tend to balance it pretty well, personally, for me at least. But I can see what you're saying. I can understand your perspective that it could have just stayed a sitcom.
I just think that they have this thing they have this gold, right? They struck gold with Red vs. Blue, right? Mm-hmm. They absolutely did because the numbers just they tell the story itself. I just think that they should have kept it for what it is and not try to go into all these other different directions, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Maybe I'm just old man yelling at clouds again.
Yeah.
It just feels like when you have something that's good for at that one thing. In my philosophy, it's like you keep it that way, and I make that shit happen in like stuff like Warframe 2, right? Like when I look at Warframes, I don't look at them for like that's just back when I was more serious about Warframe.
Yeah.
I didn't look at them for like, oh, they're cool or fun. And I was like, no, I thought of them as like, what is it that they do best that do better than any other Warframe out there? And if the answer is nothing, then they would never level the Warframe. I would never get it. I would never farm it. Right. But that's how I see this kind of problem, this kind of like sitcom thing. It's like, I see Red versus Blue for what it does best than anything else out there. And when I see that, I think to myself that if I were the ones that were in control of the narrative of the show, I would just focus on that thing that makes it unique and better than anything else, instead of branching out to other things, and just keep it like that for as long as possible, and just try to outdo yourself to kind of keep yourself up there, right? That's how I see it.
Yeah, it also must be said, and I agree, I can see where you're coming from. I can definitely see where you're coming from if Red versus Blue were created by one person in a monolith, for sure. But I also think that part of the change is Red versus Blue has had numerous writers that come and go, as well as, like, I mean, when you think about it, it's crazy that they had the main characters up until season 17. Because by like 2015, 2016, all of the people that were voice actors in Red versus Blue, well, they aren't in mainline Rooster Teeth content anymore. They just own the company, but they were still voice acting in Red versus Blue. Yeah, they're like CEO and CFO of Rooster Teeth, and they're still voice acting in their own show simply because they loved it so much. And so I think that is also kind of interesting to me. But I definitely think I agree with you that it could have stayed a monolith. I do have to say, I think that for me, when I look at it, I see it as people who are experimenting with doing something new. And Red versus Blue was a friendly platform to do it on, because if you make a mistake, well, it's a comedy.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you make a mistake, it just turns into something funny later. And so, yeah, I think that when I look at it, it's like, okay, I can see they're trying to learn to animate. They're trying to learn to use these tools so that they can do what they really want to do, which may have been like, I don't know how long Ruby was in the mind of that guy, how long he wanted to make that show, but it could have been years that he wanted to make Ruby, but he didn't have the skills to do it himself. And so now he finally has an opportunity to sharpen those skills and get good at making that kind of animation in a setting where it doesn't just have to be a drain, where you can actually do it in a professional setting with professional tools and make money from it, because the people are going to watch Red versus Blue regardless, And so I think that's part of it too. It's like he wanted to learn how to do that, and I kind of have respect for that. I have respect for that mentality. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I see. That's kind of my perspective on it. Is that also? I didn't know that Game Grumps appeared as writers. Aaron Hansen and David and Dan Avidan wrote in season 15.
Wow.
For Red versus Blue. I didn't know that. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure.
They also had Chris Robertson, who wrote iZombie, and he apparently wrote some episodes in season 14.
Yeah, so it looks like it's as you said. It's like, with Red versus Blue, they could like do whatever they wanted. So they they just threw a bunch of random shit at it and see what stuck.
Yeah, they threw a bunch of random stuff. They saw what stuck, and they also, they brought on other writers to either form relationships with them. I'm sure they're YouTube personalities, right? So especially early on when they were bringing on like people like Chris Robertson, right? That was probably like a oh my God, like we get to meet Chris Robertson. Fuck this, let's write with Chris Robertson. And then Chris Robertson had all these ideas, right? Not that he ruined anything or anything like that, right? Because I couldn't
what can you do
say
to ruin it at that point?
Yeah, but like Chris Robertson shows up and he's like, I want to do this, and they're all like, yeah, let's do that because it's fucking Chris Robertson, you know, creator of iZombie, one of the nerd legends, basically. But yeah, so it's like interesting to me that's probably part of it too, is they would bring these people on and you know, they probably could have said no, but why? You know, it's a YouTube serial. Like, who's gonna complain? There isn't really a whole lot down that you can go from there, to be quite honest. But yeah.
The Massive Blue hit rock bottom, went up, hit rock bottom again, fucking did some weird shit on the left.
Oh yeah.
It's done. It's done. It's done just about everything it could do. It's just the problem with it is personal. It's a personal problem.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that. Not saying that Massive Blue is bad or anything. I'm saying it lost. It could be. It lost me.
Yeah.
I wish it hadn't. I wish it had just kept going straight. So that I personally could keep enjoying the parts that I enjoyed the most about it. And, you know, that's it. Because if I wanted to see, you know, cool fighting action scenes, my first thought is not Red versus Blue. My first thought is, I'm going to go watch anime, you know.
Right.
If I want to watch drama, right, my first thought is manga. I'm going to go read some manga.
Yeah.
Because watching drama takes fucking forever. Just reading it's much quicker and efficient.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I get you. I can understand that. I can understand
that was my problem with Red vs. Blue, is that it didn't want to fit into my mold anymore. It didn't want to be the thing that I watched it for to begin with, which is the funny hee hee hoo hoo ha ha. The fucking car is being Mexican, and that's hilarious, you know. Yeah. Oh, and that's something I wanted to say. It's like there's a meme going on just to the side. There's a meme going on, or a TikTok about this white guy. Across the majestic and vast glimpse of space, the jimmies for Russell softly. There it is. I just noticed that I was watching the stream. Sorry.
It's been up there like the whole time.
I know, sorry. Yeah. I just saw it. Shit, where was I? There's this TikTok about this white dude who talks to a random people on the street with a big old Mexican hat and like a poncho, right? Right. And goes up to them and goes, is this racist? Is this cultural appropriation? Yeah. And he had a fake mustache too, right? There's random people on the streets of America going, is this racist or is this cultural appropriation? You know, and the people were like, yeah, you know, are you Mexican? And he goes, no. And he goes, yeah, it's a little racist, it's a little cultural appropriation, and this, that. And like basically every fucking white person goes up to them and goes, is this racist? Like give one vague answer or another that basically means yes, right? Yeah. And then the second part of the TikTok, the guy goes to Mexico with a fake mustache, a big old hat, and a poncho. Yeah. Goes up to Mexicans in the street and goes, is this racist? And the Mexicans go, no, man, you look cool.
No, man, fuck yeah.
So it's my same thing about I remember when I forget the name of the fucking car that spoke Mexican. It's like, I thought to myself as a 13-year-old, you know, I'm Latino, is that racist? And I was like, then I realized I was too busy laughing to really care, and just kept laughing at it.
It's the robot though, it's not the car.
It's not the car, it's a robot. Oh yeah, what's the name of the robot? I can't remember.
The robot's name is Lopez.
Lopez
the Heavy. Lopez the Heavy. And,
oh my god, he was my favorite character.
Yeah, he's so funny, and it's great because I mean, literally, I think that it's obviously I would personally say it's pretty clear it's not racist, but I do think it is funny that the whole origin story behind him is something that we talked about on the podcast, which is when Sarge was putting Lopez together, he didn't wear an ESD and he shorted out the language card. So Lopez can only speak Spanish, but there are like 4 different versions of Lopez throughout the show, and all of them have different reasons for only speaking Spanish. That's just the first one. One of them just didn't come with any of the other languages, and Sarge was like, "Yeah, I thought it would increase our
morale.
I thought it would be better for us because we could all learn a second language and increase our diversity." And everyone was like, what?" And then another one, he just didn't think about it, apparently. So he just didn't think about changing the language. And then, like, they have opportunities to fix him throughout the show, including a time where they have an entire spare robot body that they let somebody else use instead, and they don't fix Lopez. So he just keeps on talking in Spanish the whole time, and none of them can understand him, which is really funny. It's great. It's comedy gold.
Yeah, and as somebody who speaks Spanish and knows exactly what Lopez is saying at all points, it is so hard. It's only because I speak both Spanish and English that I can kind of tell what Lopez is saying, but that just makes it extra funny.
Yeah, because it's also like it's AI. It's AI. It's AI Spanish.
Yeah. So it's extra funny because there's jokes that completely fly over your head as somebody who doesn't speak Spanish when Lopez is speaking.
Yeah.
So for me, Lopez was one of my favorite characters because it was a special character to me as somebody who speaks both Spanish and English. Lopez's little nuances in his bad translations and broken Spanish makes him extra funny. So for me, he was one of my favorite characters.
I think is amazing because one of the writers of Original Lopez, and I don't know about later, but one of the writers of Original Lopez is a native Spanish speaker.
So he knows.
And so he knows. So all of those jokes that you heard that you thought might have been just like accidental, 100% intentional. Because the writer absolutely knew, because he's also bilingual. So which I think is awesome. I did look into that because I was curious. It was like, did the people who write? And it turns out that one of the writers, because they're from Texas. Rooster Teeth is based in Texas, and so one of the writers is a bilingual Texan who speaks Spanish fluently, and so really, really funny jokes. And I mean, like I get some of them, not all of them, but I'm not by any means. I wouldn't even say I'm conversational in Spanish anymore, but I know enough to have conversations. I took Spanish in high school, and some of it still stuck with me. But yeah, it is interesting. I thought that the writing, and the writing on the show, it saves it for me all the time. It's even when it goes into drama and stuff like that, it's still really good writing. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty solid. So yeah, I personally really enjoy it, and I would recommend everybody go watch it, at least the first couple of seasons. They're 100% worth it.
They are ageless.
Yeah.
The first couple seasons, ageless.
Immortal. Yeah.
Yeah. They're forever. They are going to be a monument of the early 2000s internet forever and ever. And it's like we have a little time machine like that will perfectly preserve the gold that is Red versus Blue first seasons.
Yeah.
My God.
And you know what actually makes me the most happy about that too is it is entirely plausible that we might not have had them because they were made under Machinima, and Machinima has a bad habit of keeping people's intellectual property when they leave Machinima. They did that on a couple of people, and so Rooster Teeth fought really hard to get back the rights to the first seasons of their own show from Machinima. And so it is entirely plausible that when Machinima went down, because Machinima, I mean, I think they're still up, but most of their content is gone now.
Nobody talks about Machinima anymore. Nobody watches Machinima.
Yeah. And they don't really have any of their old content up anymore. It is entirely plausible that Red versus Blue might have been lost to the annals of history if Rooster Teeth had not fought so hard to maintain their rights to it from Machinima.
I don't think so, because at that point it had become so popular that, look, when I watched Red vs. Blue, I believe that I actually learned about it not through YouTube, but rather like I was watching warcraftmovies.com. And for people that don't know what warcraftmovies.com is the early 2000s website where you would go and upload how you spanked people in PvP in World of Warcraft.
Huh.
Like that's where like the whole montages of WoW PvP montages became fucking popular.
Is that where Leroy Jenkins came from?
No, Leroy Jenkins is YouTube.
Okay.
Because it's but you can bet your ass, like, what people would do in Machinima is to, like, upload shit that didn't belong to them there in warcraftmovies.com.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned about Red vs. Blue, is because somebody had uploaded the first few episodes of Red vs. Blue in warcraftmovies.com while I was browsing for, like, some PvP videos.
That's awesome.
Right?
Do you think, was it illegitimate? Was it
Oh,
not?
absolutely. This is not root.
Okay.
This is not Rooster Teeth.
That's great.
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's great. Like, it wasn't like somebody at Rooster Teeth like, we're gonna upload here too. Because haha. No, it was not. That's great. Honestly, I find that really funny.
Yeah.
I find that really, really funny.
Some things about the internet will never change.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try.
I do like getting into things from sources that may not be legitimate. I will always find that funny.
And speaking of warcraftmovies.com,
yeah,
it was an era before Machinima where content creators were starting to, like, go crazy. You know how, you know, there's the Call of Duty montages with, like, the deep fried memes and whatnot, and the air horns and all of that. Well, before all of that, we had edgy PvP montages in warcraftmovies.com. And that was kind of like the precursor to the whole YouTube Call of Duty montage, Battlefield montage things. I feel like I should link you a few of these PvP montages because some of them go crazy. Like, some people, I remember specifically this one Russian warlock that made his montages, he was so fucking good at PvP, but he made his montages so edgy and, like, just metal and stuff like that he basically had, like, an entire story arc about his character going around the world PvPing people in world PvP. And it was it was so fucking over the top and dumb and
That's
edgy
awesome.
and hilarious, but you could tell that the person was very passionate about this and was taking it very seriously. I was laughing my ass off as an fucking emo kid about just how fucking edgy this whole thing was. But it was insane. As dumb and like over the top as I thought it was, at the end of the day, dude, this guy was doing some crazy shit with like with his machinima, with his content, that when I look back at it, it feels almost insane that was 2007 when this man was pulling out these basically story arcs. These montages were not 15 minutes. They were not 10, 15 minutes. They were like fucking 40 minutes of this man. Like, half of it is just like storytelling of his like headcanon for his character, and half of it is like world PvP. And it was fucking fantastic. I need to go look it up now and just like link it to you, because you wouldn't believe that this shit was done in like 2007. There's so many of them. Oh, and by the way, warcraftmovies.com, that shit's still up. You can Google that.
Of course it is.
And
of course
it's still there.
Yeah, of course.
It's such a fucking blast from the past. You know what? I'm gonna fucking go to it right now.
Yeah.
Warcraft movies. Yeah, it's just like just type Warcraft in Google. The first thing that comes up is Warcraft movies, and there it is. Warcraft movies.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
My God, look at this. Today's spotlight. 2022 Destruction Warlock PvP. This shit is still going. Let's go, man.
Nice.
Oh my God, new movies. Yo, it still looks just like it did back in 2000.
Yeah.
Old HTML. It looks like Newgrounds. It's like HTML based.
Never changed. God, dude. Yeah. Newgrounds is so funny because it's still the same degeneracy and also the same exact look. It's great. I like Newgrounds. It's awesome.
So good. Yeah, same with Warcraft
awesome.
movies. So you should go to yeah, I'll send you the link. But you should come here and just like click on some videos, check out some stuff that you might like.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm gonna 100% try to find this video and link it to you, because this guy, like, his videos are how I found obscure metal bands that I really liked. So if you're a metal fan, I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. If you are a metal fan, or go to warcraftmovies.com, look at only Rogue and only Warlock PvP montages, and listen to their OSTs. I'm telling you, you're gonna discover your new favorite metal song that you've never heard of in like one or two montages.
Good taste.
They got that good shit.
Good taste.
Yeah,
nice.
It's great.
Nice. That's awesome. I'll have to see, because I have a bunch of friends who play WoW, and one of them's super into metal. I might be like, yo, do you know
there's no way. There's no
guys?
way he hasn't.
I
there's
bet
no way
he
he hasn't
does.
listened to it.
I mean, he's literally a drummer in a metal band. That's like, he works with me. He does website development, but
zero chance you haven't heard of this. He hasn't heard of this site.
Yeah,
that's hysterical. Do you have anything else you want to say, or you want to call the the podcast here?
I have a glowing Wi-Fi controlled moon now that hangs in my room.
Why?
That's pretty much it. Why? I don't know, because I felt like it. I bought it on Amazon. It was funny. It looks cool.
Oh my god.
That's pretty much it. Also, I posted on my TikTok. I posted a couple of climbing videos on my TikTok. Go fucking check them out. They're awesome. They're both dinos. They were really fun to film, and they were really fun to do. Please go follow me there. Shell out. TikTok Cthulhu Tilly. But yeah, I think we're probably gonna call it here, because we're breaching almost the 2-hour mark. We're almost there, so we have a couple minutes. So
I'd rather just keep the podcast just like just concentrated content instead of us trying to stretch it to 2 hours for no reason.
Yeah,
it's no fun
I
for
agree.
anybody.
I agree. So, where can we find you?
We had some good rants. Alright, guys, you guys
out
can
in this
find
world
me in twitch.tv/Hallik25, at least for another week or so, because I did say I wanted to rebrand, and I am gonna rebrand as soon as I get my hands on this goddamn model that got delayed like an entire month.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be an e-slut. It's gonna be awesome. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah,
it'll be fucking amazing.
I'm gonna be showing belly bottom. I'm gonna have like a little belly bottom piercing too, dude.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be. We teased it last week. Go check out last week's podcast, episode 19. When I upload it, I'll upload it later.
So you guys might think that I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Yeah, he's not joking. It's awesome. Follow him. Twitch.tv Hallik25, rebrand coming soon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. He's gonna do some really fun stuff. I'm really excited to see what he does personally as well. So that's to look forward to. Twitch as well, and Twitter. That's pretty much everywhere you're at, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I am the other host of Chatting in the Void, Cthulhu Tilly. You can find me anywhere at Cthulhu Tilly. I am on Twitter. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitch, obviously, because you're here. Please follow, subscribe, like, as well as if you want to listen to the audio version of our podcast, you can find us anywhere podcasts are found: Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever you want. I'm pretty much on all the platforms. I think our podcast is now being distributed to over like 20 platforms. I think we're at like 21 platforms now total, which is pretty wild. But yeah, follow us there, as well as follow Chatting in the Void on YouTube. And Chatting in the Void also has its own Twitter, its own TikTok, and its own Instagram. And I'm going to try to start putting some more content on those as well in the coming future, although I don't know exactly when I'm going to have time to do that, but I'm going to try, and it might be irregular, but you know, anything to try to get more people in here. But yeah, thank you all for joining. Anything to say before we leave?
No, I think we're good, man. It's a good episode.
All right. Genshin is a gacha game.
Shut up.
This is Cthulhu Tilly signing off.
How are we friends? I hate this. Oh.
right. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you listening to Chatting in the Void with Cthulhu, Tilly, and Hallik. You can find a video version of our podcast on YouTube and our audio podcast anywhere where podcasts are found. Go give Hallik a follow at twitch.tv/Hallik_VT, and please check out any guests we might have had on. You can catch our podcast live at 7 p.m. EST most Saturdays or sometimes Sundays. If you want to know when we are live, please join our Discords linked below. Have a wonderful day, or night, or whatever. Thank you for joining us in the Void. We hope to see you next time.